Sumas un poco. And now, let me see here. Yeah, we are on YouTube now. Hello, guys. Good evening. I hope you are doing well this night. And I hope you are excited to have this conversation with me. Today, we'll be talking about an interesting topic that I believe it's really important to talk about, that is self-sabotage. So, as always, I explain a little bit how this works. So, it's gonna be just general talk about this specific topic. We don't have teachers here. We don't correct each other. We don't teach grammar part of the language of English. We are here just to use the language of knowledge that we have currently acquired. So it's the way that this kind of session works. And basically, is that we normally start with a self presentation. However, as we know each other this night, and we don't have new members, I believe we can skip that part. Okay. I believe that everybody received the questions. We sent 15 questions, so you will be well prepared for those who want to participate. So don't be worried about, don't be prepared for these sessions. And that's it. Let's start and let's dissect the frog together. Let's move to the question number one. I'm gonna demand to Jubia, could you please read the first question and answer it?
Yes. What does self-sabotage mean in your own words? In my own words, self-sabotage is happens when you don't have um, so much trust in yourself and you are being with yourself true.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. There are some times that we are some, perhaps we put a lot of pressure on us, even more than others, and we cannot see our value or our worth. So yeah, basically is that it's a good way to explain the detail of self-sabotage in your own words. Thank you so much for sharing, Jubia and Ebenezer. What about you? What do you think sabotage is in your own words?
Well, I think that uh, self sabotage it's like when you have a goal or you know what you have to do and you are not moving any finger to achieve it. It's like you're trying to, in some cases, like postpone things or you think it's not necessary, or maybe you're focusing more in the cons than the pros of that goal that achieved. Right? Is what I think.
Yeah, it's a good point. Normally, when we talk about self-sabotage, is when we like, as we said before, it's something that perhaps we start doubting so much about ourselves. We cannot see our progress or our success, our own success when we do something good. But I believe that triggers those kind of actions, as Ebenezer just said. We start like postponing things. We start like procrastinating so much because perhaps we think we are not capable of doing different perhaps activities where we should. So I believe that is a combination of that mindset with procrastination, in my opinion. Basically, you said everything that I wanted to share. But it's good to know about what is your own. I forgot the word. It's not theory. Your own. I forgot. So let's move on to the next question. Let's see what the second question wants to teach us. Ebenezer, could you please read the second one?
Yeah, it says, can you think of a situation where someone made sabotage their own success? Well, I have seen some situation about this, and it's like occurs very often for those who have traveled abroad or for those who have moved to a different country. Um, and I saw that as some of them they really wanted to like live in another country to just to have a professional growth, but in the middle of the of the living, they start like just I don't know. It's like they feel alone, or they don't have the familiar support, or maybe some customs that they are not used to, or not they are not getting the new custom of the country, and they uh, desert living in that country, and they finally they go back home. So uh, situation like that, like they don't feel insured that they won't reach it, or they are not going to get that goal, or maybe they are not going to what can I say? In this case, for a professional growth, they are not going to climb in the company or something like that because of several things that maybe they don't support.
Thank you so much. I believe that when people move to another place, to another country, I believe that it's a combination of strong feelings, not just self-sabotage. I believe it's so difficult to like start over. However, I think that a good example that you bring to the table is when we start like doubting that we deserve something like a promotion or as a salary raise, and we start like thinking I don't deserve it because perhaps I didn't did a good work. Perhaps my colleague or somebody more intelligent or smarter, he or she needs or deserves it. So I believe that's the mindset of self-sabotage of a person who is doing that with her or with himself. Thank you so much, Ebenezer, for sharing. And Jubia, what about you? What do you think about it?
I think when we are younger, we usually have big dreams, and when we grow up, we start to think that those big dreams are impossible because we we are not enough to get it. For example, I want to to do to study uh, in another country, but I I could think something like I can't go because I am not smarter than other who is trying to get study. I forgot the word, but study discount, something like that. Are not enough to get that discount on my studies because to study another country because I'm not smarter enough, something like that.
Thanks so much for sharing. And I'm not sure if you were trying to use the word scholarship.
Yes,
Ah, okay,
scholarship.
scholarship. Yeah. Thanks so much, Hubia. Yeah, and that's it. That's the mindset of sabotage. Thinking that we don't deserve it, or we are not that, or we start comparing ourselves with other success. It's something that it's normal nowadays, even more nowadays that we have social media. And something interesting that you said about this part is when we are children, when we are child or when we are kids, we don't think so much about others. We just think about our dreams, and we think that everything is possible. Unfortunately, when we grow up, we start like being more rational, and we start doubting about ourselves. Obviously, we need to have our like limits, because we are sure that perhaps some things won't happen in our lives. But I believe that we can dream high as well. We can dream. We must dream big as well. Yeah, and that's it. And in my opinion, can you think a situation where someone? I believe that in job interviews, there are some people that they cannot like handle this stress. And I believe that self-sabotage is something that hits at that moment. For example, if the interviewer asks a difficult question, you will tend to get more nervous for the next one. And it's like you have like power energy, and when you fail one, it's like your power energy is going down. And I believe that your mind start like thinking that you are not capable to do it, or perhaps you are not ready for that position. I believe that it's okay to think that perhaps you need more preparation, but if you just think that you are not good enough, and I believe that that's the mindset of a person who is doing self-sabotage with his or with herself. Uh, let's move to the next question. I'm gonna read the third one. Thanks so much, guys, for sharing your insights. Why do people sometimes act against their own goals? I am reading a book that is pretty interesting. It's the Hi-Fi Habits. The author is Mel Robbins, and in one part, she says that some people start like doubting or abandoning their goals because somebody else already did it. And I believe it's something true. And we start when, for example, if you want to live abroad, or if you want to get a salary rise, and somebody in your environment does the same thing, you firstly you feel jealous. And as a consequence, consequently, you start doubting about yourself just because somebody else already did it. And perhaps you at the beginning you thought that it was so difficult, or at least it needed a lot of effort. But if somebody else did it, I believe that it hits us as human beings, and it's something normal. And I wanted to share the part of that book that is pretty good. I haven't finished that book yet, but I truly recommend that. And yeah, and I believe it's a good example of how we act against our goals because perhaps we start comparing with others. What do you think about it, Ebenezer?
Yeah, I think I'm agree with you, and I think we act against our goals because we need to move away from our comfort zone. Changes needs different things. It's like uh, I have a goal, and to achieve it, I have to make or maybe we have higher expectation, and we can see that goal very far. Ne? So I'm gonna make an example of my case that when I was like trying to decide what I want to study, like 16, 17 years old. Uh, I love my profession now. I'm working of what I really like, but in when I was 16, I always wanted to be a pilot. So it, until now, it's one of my big goals that I want to achieve. Maybe I'm not gonna be a pilot, but at least I wanna know how to drive a little plane. But when I was 16, it's like I was thinking about how much do I had to do to be a pilot. It's like what, like 500 hours or something, like 1,000 hours to be a commercial pilot. So I saw that difficult and too much time, and I sabotage myself of that dream. So it's like we need to if you want to achieve a goal, you need to do different things if you want to expect a different result. Is what I think.
Yeah, when we have like so many obstacles, obviously we are going to start like doubting about if that dream is reachable. Uh, yeah, I believe it's really tough to think that something that you always wanted to do won't be possible. It's and accept that it's hard, even more when we are young people. Now that we are adults, I believe that it's easier to say, okay, it's not gonna happen as many things that have never happened has never happened so far. So yeah, it's difficult. But as you said, perhaps if you did everything that you could at that moment, perhaps you could feel like at least comfortable that you tried your best. Thanks so much, Benicer and Hubia. What do you think about it? The question number three.
I also read a book called, I searched the title in English, The Gifts of Imperfection. And that book, she talks about the emotion shame. We we sometimes we can't, we don't do what we really want to do because this those emotions of shame. I remember when I I was a kid and I danced ballet. And when I was there, I always felt very nervous and a lot of shame because in my mind I was not good enough doing those activities. And now I think about it, and in I see that I have to be very brave to do the things that make me happy. So I think shame is something that is going against our goals.
For sure. Yeah, shame and shyness is something that I believe that kills a lot of goals, a lot of dreams of us if we cannot handle those emotions. And as you said, it's a bunch of emotions that make us feel like that. And I was thinking about learning English, the how many times we have sabotaged ourselves before talking or before trying to use a new expression. I'm not sure how you feel. For example, perhaps we can talk about it when you are like in a group of people or when you are in the street at the street and you see someone like speaking in English and perhaps that person or that group of people are like trying to find a place and you know that they are doing that because you know English. At least for me, nowadays, like trying to help them in that context is really difficult because I think about so much about what they are gonna think about my pronunciation, about my perhaps my English level, and unfortunately, something that makes us sometimes lose the opportunity. What do you think about it, Juvia? Do you think that self-sabotage is something that impacts our English learning process?
Yes, I had some experiences when I listen someone talks in English or asking for help, but I stopped what I was thinking about to say because I was feeling nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that uh, that people is native. I
Mm-hmm.
am just learning, and I feel the shame talking with someone who knows better than me,
Mm-hmm.
and I always feel that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some unfortunately something that happens and makes us like lose, as I already said, the chances to perhaps have a great conversation with someone that perhaps we could exchange ideas. And Ebenezer, what do you think about like comparing or self-sabotage in English learning?
I completely agree about what you said in some cases because it occurs more when we in the speaking in the speaking situation because as you said there are a person or maybe there is a some or there is someone that speak English and in some cases uh, maybe a friend knows that you speak English and he says, but he speak English. He can help us to understand you. Maybe you can. He can translate you. And in that case, you feel like not secure about your English level, or try to I don't know skip that situation.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It happens but it's all about mental issues. Like you need to fail. You need to know that fail. It's the start of doing things different.
Mm-hmm.
It works badly in our conscience, but we need to handle that situation. No one know was born knowing things, so we start learning a little bit more in per day practicing. So it occurs a lot, especially when you have to speak. Maybe your grammar, you're right. You can read and you can write
Mm-hmm.
reading and grammar structure. Maybe you can be very good at it. But speaking is like it's different. It's not the same. But yeah, in in my case, it was really difficult for me to open my mind to speak with
Mm-hmm.
no fear. Until now, I have some situation, but I'm trying to resolve.
Mhm. Yeah, speaking is like I'm not sure if that expression exists in English, but the speaking is the cherry of the cake. I'm not sure if that expression exists. And some that example that you brought to the table about when a friend and a friend puts you in the spot, like that person is studying English. They don't say that. They say she or he speaks English, and you they start like comparing yourself, and they expect you to do uh something like really good, but you get nervous and you start doubting about your English level. It's something that I believe that everybody has faced something similar. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, guys, for sharing. Let's move on to the next question. I believe that the fourth one was related, yeah, it was related to the question that I just asked. So perhaps we can skip to the question number five. Ebenezer, could you please read the fifth one and answer?
Yeah, it says, what role does l- low self confidence play in a self sabotage? I think that it happens when you have a promotion, or maybe when you start a new job. It's like I don't know if you have the same idea than I do, but in some cases, the when you get a job, maybe in the university you have the theory part, but when you go to the practice, it's way different in some cases. But uh, when you get a new work, a new job, or have a promotion, it's like you feel a little bit unconfident. It's like uh, you feel that you are not prepared for to afford this situation, and maybe you think that you don't deserve this promotion, and that start making that start playing a negative role in your mind. So I think that uh, you need to start to start to order your mind, like divide things, or don't make higher expectation of higher goal expectations, like
Mm-hmm.
make a little one goal, uh, uh, divide your goals in pieces, and that could be easier to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
That gonna make your mind think that you are not or maybe avoid the self sabotage.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing, Ebenezer. And yeah, I agree with you. Well, I truly believe that confidence is everything when we talk about, well, if you would, if people, or if would have like a good confidence, perhaps self-sabotage wouldn't appear in our life. Unfortunately, I believe that low self-confidence combined with shame and the fear of fail, all three together, I believe those are a really bad combination for somebody, and that creates that mindful the mindset of self-sabotage. But I would like to know from you, Jubia, what do you think about it?
I think low confidence uh, is something really difficult to feel, and when you feel you are not good enough, not
Mm-hmm.
smart enough, you starting to get the all these low emotions into yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like um snow snowball,
Mm-hmm.
and I think is the start of self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, I believe that when we get a point where it's like an infinite cycle or an infinite loop, that we people who work in IT area, they we are gonna understand that expression. Uh, it's something that it's I believe it gets worse and worse when we start like thinking or underestimating ourselves every single time that we fail again. So yeah, and related to something that you are already mentioned is the next question, the question number six. Do you think self-sabotage is usually conscious or unconscious? Why? I'm going to start with that one. and I think that it's something most of the time is something unconscious. It's the message that we have sent to our mind all of this time, every single time that we fail, or every single time that we have that feeling of that we are not good enough, or we are not smart enough. It is like we are training our mind to think to think that that message is true. And when we start like in starting to get into a similar experience, for example, I'm gonna go back to perhaps talking in English, or perhaps having an interview. When we start like just failing one thing, all of those all of those bad experience that we had in the past come to my mind, and your own mind start telling you you are not good enough, you already failed before and you are doing it again. So in my case, well, in my opinion, it's something unconscious, and it's something that we have created, unfortunately, but obviously it was not on purpose. It's something that we as human beings perhaps we need to know how to handle, um, how to help it as well, perhaps with professional help. But yeah, that's my opinion. That most of the time this is unconscious. Ebenezer, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think the same as you do. And I think it's unconscious because a person who self sabotage, I think this person will self sabotage in every situation, not just like work. It could be a relationship or maybe health. Health. It could be it could be a good option too. So it's unconscious because I think no one's like think that he will ruin its career or will ruin his health consciously or say like that. No, today I'm not. I'm going to, I don't know. um I don't know, I'm gonna break my leg or something like that. It's not like that. It's like it's when something goes bad, maybe for a personal decision, and it says that maybe it's a bad luck or I don't know. I'm less stressed or trying to protect the ego of that person. So it's completely unconscious for me.
Thank you so much. And I would like to know what Jubia thinks about it. Do you think that's something conscious or unconscious, and why?
I think it's something unconscious too, because nobody wants to think about the self like this, and it's something that people do to self protect sometimes.
That was really pretty interesting about self-protection. We need to feel safe, and that's why we say, okay, I won't try it because I don't want to feel failure again. And unfortunately, that stops us, and consequently, we stop like pursuing our dreams. And yeah, it's a signal, it's a way of self-protection as well. Thanks so much for sharing, Jubia. Let's move to the next question. Jubia, could you continue with the question number 7?
Yes. What are some common habits that sabotage personal growth? Mm, I think some bad habits that sabotage personal growth, it's procrastination, um, when you you stop to do most important things in your life. Um, and this is something that is self-sabotation, because when you don't do the things that makes you feel uh, happy, you start to live your life and in an unhappy way. You don't feel motivated, you don't feel healthy, because I think it's important to maintain some good habits, like uh, go out with friends sometimes, because you need this time of healthy time to be more productive, for example. Mm, so these common habits that sabotage personal growth is something like stop seeing your friends because you want to focus on, I don't know, in be better at work. It's an
Mm-hmm.
example, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I sometimes I thought, oh, this is, will have more time to do my my things at work if I don't go out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not uh, always a good choice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing, Juvia. And yeah, procrastination for sure is part of a bad habit that lead a person to self sabotage. Another one that I would like to add it's like perfectionism, because when we want to do it like something perfect at once, we feel bad. I don't know why, because perhaps we forgot that we are not experts and we are human beings, and I believe that trying to be perfect is something that hits people as well in general. Another thing that I would like to add as well is scrolling on social media and comparing our lives with others. It's something that creates for sure self-sabotage, because I shared an example about like another person who has already achieved something that we really wanted, and we started like feeling that. Thank you so much, Julio, for have shared. And it's your turn, Ebenezer. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm completely agree with you. Procrastination, I think, is the top of the self sabotage in this case. One of the things that you have mentioned too is when you quit when things get hard. It's like we need to move from our or it's like it's not it's not secure for me, so I'm not gonna try it because of course we think that we are gonna fail for sure, and that means that you need to move from the comfort zone. So and we don't do that just for the thinking of I'm not capable to do it. And one of the common habits for me, I think, is when you say yes to everything. It's like someone asks you something and you say yes, or even if you need to do something that is more important for you or for your personal growth or for your career, and I think you prioritize things that's not gonna build in your professional growth, and you start doing different things, or maybe as a personal decision you choose different things, like I don't know, maybe You have a partial to the next day, and you decide to maybe hang out with friends or doing something else, and you sabotage yourself because you escape from the reality, or escape from your, or escape from the things you really need to do, or things that are really important. You don't know how to prioritize them. Yeah, I think those are the, for me, the habits that when I can uh, can can sabotage a personal growth.
Mhm. You point out a really good example that is like not knowing how to say no, even though we want to say no, and it's a signal. It's a sign that we are just saying yes because we want to place people, and it's a good example that we forget about us. Perhaps we have something more important, or we don't really want to go to perhaps a party or an invitation, and we say yes because we think that we are gonna hurt, or perhaps we are gonna make that person feels bad. And it's a good example about of that we are like forgetting about ourselves. Thank you so much, Ebenezer, and thanks so much, Jubia. I already answered this question. I think so. Let's move to the next question. Jubia, could you please read the who was the last one who read the question? Was you
I
or were
think
I
you?
was you.
Uh,
I think it was me, no? I do it.
uh, I do not remember. Well, Ebenezer, could you please read the eighth one?
Eight.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Or-
How can negative self-talk affect a person's decision? Well, I think when someone gets or have a good opportunity, it's like, I don't know, a good opportunity to move to a different country, or maybe a good opportunity, or got a new job, and start focusing on the cons instead of the pros. It's like just trying to start to balancing what are the cons, and make you think that you're not going to achieve it, or not going to get it. It's like you start thinking about, oh, I don't know, you have to get up at 5 a.m. or something like that. um Subconsciously you look for reasons to quit, or make a little bit mistakes that reinforce that belief. So it's like you are just encouraging yourself to quit or to miss. And yeah, I don't know how to say it, like you are ruin yourself in this situation.
Yeah, I truly believe that when we start like thinking so much about something or the bad part, or perhaps the cons that you mentioned, we start like it's like we are forcing ourselves to find something bad to say no. So when you have the chance to do something that you perhaps wanted, and don't think so much about saying yes, I would say, because that happened to me so many times when like I had a good chance to do something that I wanted, but then I started like searching on internet. I believe it's important to like search or make at least be sure or 50% sure that it's something that is not gonna be bad for you. But when you think so much and you find or you try to search a lot of information about it, that's gonna affect your decision, and even more if it's something negative. So yeah, so negative self-talk in general affect the person, not just in making decisions. But I would like to know from you, Julio, what do you think about it?
I think when I when we have a negative self-talk, we we don't have the experiences that we we can have. Like for an example, what if you really want to one day uh, participate of a how do you say palestra lecture.
Uh, a lecture.
You really want one day to participate a lecture with some people that you think is that great in your area. You really want one day to do this, but you have these faults that you are not good enough, you don't speak well, you are not smart enough. And I think that those faults uh, don't help you to get that goal. So if we move only uh, looking for this negative self-talk, we can't do the things that through our life it's like um, something that you really want to to achieve in your life. So I think negative self-talk uh, blocked you to achieve the things that it's really important to do in your life, career, for example.
Mhm. Yeah, I believe that it's even more powerful than your past experiences or bad experiences that are in your mind, because self-talk is like yourself talking to yourself. So if you say something negative to yourself, it's because you really believe that that is true. So I believe it's even worse. I'm not sure, guys. Perhaps I would take advantage of this question to ask this. Have you already like tried positive self-talk? Have you ever said like, Ebenezer, you can do it like in third person to yourself? I have an example because when I was like studying English last year for proficient test, for me the listening part as a matter of fact currently really difficult. And every time that I had to do my exercises that were like 30 minutes of listening and answering questions, I started to say, Christian, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it 3 times. And it was like an example of self-talk but with in a positive way. So have you tried or have you ever like done something like that, Ebenezer, for example?
Yeah, yeah. It is like it happens a lot at work when I have a difficult situation. In my case, when I'm coding, something is not working. That's typical. And of course, I already said in my inside me that at the end of the tunnel there will be a light, so everything will be resolved. There is always a solution for everything. So I encourage to just to try to do it. Like you can do it. It's not difficult. Or there is a phrase that I repeat almost every day, but I cannot. I don't have the translation in English, but it's like in Spanish is it's like esto no nació aquí. It's like mentioned that this was not a how can I say, it's like if you put something inside and uh, I'm gonna make an example, a example that's very ridiculous, but maybe can help us to understand. Like we have an elephant inside a bottle, and you say this this elephant doesn't born inside this bottle, so someone had to put it inside, and of course it should get out, and it's like something like that. There is a in my case is like I'm thinking about that there everything has a solution, so maybe we need to be patient, and of course we're gonna resolve it.
Thank you so much, Benicer. That was a really powerful message. Julia, what about you? Have you ever like practiced positive self-talk to yourself?
Yes, I sometimes I write a mail to myself,
Mm,
and in those mails I try be um to be good to myself,
mhm.
to give some how do you say, some how do you say elogios?
I was thinking about encouragement, but it's not like that.
Encouragement.
It's encouragement.
It's something like that. Encouragement to myself. So when I do this, I feel more powerful.
I am trying to search elogios in English. I'm so curious. Let me see here. Oh, mm. Praise. Yeah, praise. I believe
Praise.
that's the word.
I try
Yeah.
to praise myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important to be you said something important to be kind to ourselves, and I believe that when we write it, it's a way to express it. It's not necessary to say. I try to do it like aloud to say, Christian, you can do it. You are capable to do it. But writing, it's a good example as well to express to yourself that you are starting to value yourself to and try to find you worthy, and it's important as well because you read it and it's a message for yourselves. It's a good practice. Sometimes I do it when I practice French because I am trying to write in French, and I try to do the same. So it's like a kind of therapy.
Yes.
uh, it's a kind of therapy. Well, guys, let me see if we have enough time to answer one more question. Let me see here. Let's move to social media, the question number 14. I'm going to start with you, Ebenezer. Do social media and comparison contribute to self-sabotage? I already mentioned something similar, but perhaps you have a different point of view. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think you have mentioned about something like the imposter syndrome. It's like when someone achieves a different thing, and you first. So and the comparison, I think it's like a good point that can contribute to self sabotage. It's like uh, maybe sometimes when someone is doing the thing that you want to do, and you are comparing the how can I say, uh, I think everybody has a single way to achieve things,
Mm-hmm.
in a different ways. So maybe for someone to achieve that goal could be different. But if you want to compare, maybe comparing the things that he is doing with the things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
and for him he's seeing results, and but in your side you are not seeing the same result as that person is achieving. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that could be self-sabotage, but you need to understand that not everybody has the same steps to
Mm-hmm.
walk. We need to know ourselves and know how we can feel good with our goals, or maybe we can need to know how can I divide my steps or divide my goals. Because the way to achieve goals are not always the same as the way that someone
Mm-hmm.
has taken. So I think comparison it's can contribute that maybe I'm not doing the things right
Mm-hmm.
because someone is doing and he is really success, and I'm not having um, the same result as that he has, and that could be self-sabotage in that case.
Mm-hmm. Thanks much for sharing, Ebenezer. Now, Hubia, to finish our today's session questions. The question number 14.
I think just social media and comparison contribute because when we are seeing the social media, we only see what people show us.
Mm-hmm.
We are not seeing the backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to remember that I'm not seeing the backstage. So I can't compare my growth to other people because I only see what they are showing.
Mm-hmm.
And but sometimes we uh, we see these achievements of other people and don't feel happy for them or
Mm-hmm.
wants to have what they have. So I think uh, social media it's something uh, difficult to handle.
Mm-hmm. For sure, it's difficult to handle. It's difficult to handle our emotions when we are on social media. It's really easy to get jealous from other people. As you said, sometimes or most of the time, people just show the results without the journey, and that they are like successful people as magic. Something like suddenly happens, and that's why I believe it's something that we need to be careful. And that's it, guys. I would like to ask you briefly, what do you feel today? In my personal opinion, it was like a deeper topic. It was kind of difficult to talk about it. Fortunately, I am reading a book about this topic, but I would like to know from you, Hubia, how was it for you, and if you learned something new this night?
I think is something hard to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
but I learn a lot of new words and the way you you two talking is something that improves my English too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good experience.
Thanks so much, Juvia, for being here. You are like trying to be here every single Monday. So thank you so much for your
Yes.
support. And Ebenezer, to finish this part, how was this topic for you, and if you learned something new?
I think it was a very interesting topic. At least at least I know how can I maybe handle this self-sabotage, or maybe try to identify when I just trying to self-sabotage by myself. So I don't know. I think I learn how to maybe encourage myself at work, or maybe in every single situation of life.
Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope to see you the next Monday. I'm gonna open the enrollment link tomorrow, so just wait for it, and I hope to see you later. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.